Beautiful designs and great food make the Four Seasons a serious contender. Hi there, my name is Kevin and I make honest, unsponsored, and to the point narrated video tours about resorts and flights all over the world. This is episode 114 and today we're at the immaculate Four Seasons Hotel in Jakarta. The full experience is going to begin in 10 seconds. Welcome to the Capital Place mixed-use development, where today's Four Seasons is located and where there seems to be a fortress level of security at all times. Makes for a very exclusive, if not mildly concerning first impression. If you'd like to know the exact rate that I paid for my stay, my next 5 videos in queue, or just want to check out the equipment that I use on a daily basis, please check out the description below. Follow the driveway to the rear of the development, and you'll find yourself at the entrance to the all-suite 125-room Four Seasons, which opened in 2016. While the brand has had a presence in Jakarta for many years, their previous location closed in 2014. Also, in the development you'll find an office tower, some dining options, and a Four Seasons residence. Jakarta is one of those cities that, for me at least, is way too big to even try to begin to understand the layout. So I'll just stick to the key points, like how the hotel is a 35 to 80 minute drive from the airport, depending on the time of day. For me, not during rush hour, it took 55 minutes. The coolest thing about the location is that it's actually next to an aviation museum too. By the way, if you enjoy honest content and want to see more of it, please support the channel by giving it a big thumbs up and clicking that subscribe button with notifications on. On the About tab of my channel, you'll see all of the locations and airlines that I have coming up, which I try to keep updated regularly. So much more content on the way, a big thank you in advance. As we enter, we get our first taste of the design language used throughout the majority of the guest areas. Walking in and to the left is the reception area, which is tucked around the corner. One of the downsides of the design here is just how little seating there is in the lobby area due to this layout. It's much more of a transient space and just my personal preference to not have to walk directly past the reception desk to access the elevators, which are behind it. One thing that I did very much like though was the welcome drink, which was my choice and offered as I needed to wait around 20 minutes for my room to be ready. As the patisserie was full, I was seated in the library, which is as beautiful as it is saturated and easily leads me to talk a bit about the design. The interiors are designed by New York-based architect Alexandre Champollion, who envisioned the interiors as a meeting point between classical French and Art Deco design. The even more interesting point to me though is that the exterior spaces were designed by Bill Bensley, whose beautiful designs I've spoken about quite a bit on the channel, with many of his signature properties being in Vietnam. Ironically, this library looks like something that he would design. Colorful, immersive, almost too much but not quite there yet. As beautiful as this library is though, I was excited to see the exterior spaces. But I gotta admit, just from that Bill Bensley expectation perspective, they were a bit disappointing. Let's head to the pool and you can see for yourself. It's a very nice and well laid out design that makes great use of the space available, but it's just nowhere near as styled as I'd expect from this particular designer. That said, it's a perfect spot for a few hours break from a busy working day or a family staycation, which this hotel clearly gets a lot of. Lots of staff were available throughout the day, serving drinks to, quite honestly, many more guests than I was expecting to see out here in the middle of the day. Of course now, I'm filming in the early morning. There are plenty of comfortable loungers and a few day beds that are quickly taken up. Above and behind the pool, there's another platform level with additional lounging areas and an admittedly lonely lawn. I get the feeling that it would absolutely bake up here in the middle of the day though. And don't forget, haze, smog, pollution, dirty clouds, whatever you want to call it, UV rays do go through it. So don't be one of those sad folk that get insane sunburn from what seemed like an innocent cloudy day. Overlooking the pool area is a nice sized fitness center considering there's only 125 rooms here. One annoying bit is that despite the pool and the fitness center being on a key access floor, accessed from an elevator behind the reception area, the doors to the gym and the pool both require an additional key access. As you approach the door, staff from the attached spa will literally come running out to get ahead of you to open the door for you and ask you your room number. It just seems like a fancy band-aid for an entirely curable condition. Alright, let's head to the room, or rather the suite. The smallest rooms here clock in at around 650 square feet or 60 square meters, and so at most, there will be 10 rooms on your floor. But there was unfortunately quite a bit of noise bleed from the hallways into the rooms, but not between the rooms from my experience. The hallway and rooms themselves are much more subdued and classic in design as compared to all of the common areas and venues. While as a full picture, the rooms are easy on the eyes and classically elegant, there are some bits and bobs here that just feel a bit generic and cheap. Oh, and these chairs will be absolutely perfectly suited for you if you're around 1.5 feet shorter than I am. Four Seasons beds and linens are genuinely my hands-down favorite of any hotel brand, but a couple of misses here. First, all of the linens, including the sheets, the towels, the robes, they all had this scent that I can only describe as industrial laundry. Imagine fresh cotton, a hint of floral notes with just a smidgen of electrical fire. The other thing I wasn't too happy with was waking up and only then noticing that the duvet was backwards and not enclosed. So I woke up snuggling the interior duvet itself, which if you stay at a lot of hotels, you'll know is one of the grossest things you could possibly do in a hotel, since wild hyenas are likely bathed more frequently. Over the years, I've fallen in love with multiple toiletry brands thanks to being introduced to them by Four Seasons, which was a huge miss for them here, using completely generic, single-use bottles. And not even the decent generic stuff. We're talking about fluorescent green shampoo and blue body wash. For a bit of perspective, in case you don't see my other Jakarta reviews, the Raffles Hotel uses Penhaligons and the Park Hyatt uses Hermes. All three hotels are priced nearly the same. I now welcome you to the first ever flip-flop ink blot test. Tell me what you see. The closet is open plan and across from the separate toilet area, which has one very awkward feature. There's no locking or latching mechanism on the door, and no matter how hard you try, it will never stay shut. In the front entry area, we find some more storage space, a vanity, and the decently stocked minibar with coffee and tea service and disappointing plastic bottles of water, and a few complimentary but super sweet fruit chip snacks. Last up, we have the view from our 25th floor perch. Down on the left, you can see the aviation museum that I mentioned, and luckily the windows here are very well insulated from all of the street noise generated from the ring road. It did make for a beautiful scene at night though. Speaking of night, I'm ready for dinner, so let's explore what the options are. On the very top floor, we have Alto, which is their Italian restaurant featuring its own small bar and outdoor terrace areas with the same view that you saw from my room. While it does look beautifully designed, Italian food isn't my thing, at least when we're in Jakarta. But here's a look at the menu. I chose the Palm Court, which is the grand restaurant just next to the library. The menu featured some Pan-Asian and Western options, but focused on Indonesian and specifically Javanese cuisine. That fact perhaps makes my choice of pepper-crusted tuna salad as a starter a bit odd, but it was delicious. I followed that with a much more local chicken dish, which ticked all of my spicy, sour, and fermented boxes for the evening. Next up, you might head to the Nautilus Bar, which was small, but a bit of a showstopper with its backlit bar and black interior. As we look around, let me touch on service quickly. Across the board, except for breakfast, which I'll mention separately, the service was poised and efficient, but perhaps too efficient. If this hotel with all of its staff was transported to Manhattan, it would very much fit in. It's actually a no-nonsense, borderline aggressive style of service that I particularly like, but it's just really out of place in Jakarta. Alright, we're now in the home stretch with breakfast at Palm Court. The concept here is a common one, but the execution wasn't all that great. There's a small buffet, plus an a la carte supplemental menu add-on. I'm not a fan for 3 reasons. First, the buffet is tiny and too limited to really provide anything worth writing home about. Second, service time. I sat down and ordered from the menu. I was kind of working and really not paying attention to the time, and then I heard the gentleman behind me complain about the wait time for his omelet. I checked my photos from when I sat down. I'd already been waiting 22 minutes. I finally received them 28 minutes after the initial order, which for breakfast is a big no-no. Last thing, as you sat down, each table was served a quote-unquote welcome bread, which was an absolutely plain muffin, which no one actually ate. Anyway, I'm nitpicking, I know, but it's 4 Seasons. So as we watch those beautifully cooked eggs gush and we get into the flip-flop score, what are we thinking? It's a beautiful property, and if the location is perfect for your needs, then by all means go ahead and book it. In my opinion, the Four Seasons, as nice as it is is simply outshined by other properties that I checked out in Jakarta, which will be my next 2 videos. As for this video, I do hope that you enjoyed it and found it useful, and will give it a big thumbs up and subscribe with notifications on. I'll see you next time at the Raffles, Jakarta.